Welcome to Tala Longevity Talks. I'm Hannes and I'm your host, and what a privilege to have Zettie Campher here today. One of my customers at my pharmacy, but also a very, very special person because she is my mother-in-law. I met her many, many years back in my pharmacy, long before I met her daughter and we got married, and I'm going to ask her a few questions today. Welcome, Zettie. It's a privilege to have you here.
Thank you, Hannes. I really appreciate you asking me.
Zettie, when did you start running and when did you start running marathons?
I was always active as a child and my whole life through, but I started at about 33. After I took my kids to the preschool, I started running. But I couldn't run, actually. I went from 100 meters a day, 200 meters, and then I gradually increased my mileage, and it was quite difficult for me to come to 10Ks. It took me quite some time, but I would say it took me about 2 years before I did my first marathon, yes, at about the age of 35. And I'm not sorry about that. It gradually developed after that. I never could have dreamt of going 42 Ks. And after I've done my first marathon, I just thought, well, what's the next step? And that, as a runner, your next step is usually an ultra. That anything more than 42 Ks, which I did the 2 Oceans then after a year, 56, and then the same year I did Comrades. So yes, it was a big thing, and I'm really glad that I started that many years ago.
Zettie, are there a marathon you can remember that was especially challenging and what you can remember very well?
Well, of course, Comrades is always special. It's the longest one I've done. 1 year it was 92 Ks. Very challenging, as you know. It's just uphills and downhills all the way, and by far the longest I've ever done. Beautiful scenery. 2 Oceans, beautiful scenery. It's hard for me to pick one specific, but we had the privilege of doing a few marathons all around the world, actually. And New York comes to mind. It's an amazing race. You go through all 5 boroughs of the city, and all the spectators, and some are loud and some are very, would just stand and not say anything, but that was a very special marathon in New York, yes.
Yeah, in South Africa we have beautiful marathons. I'm not a marathon runner. The longest I've run is not even a marathon. That's why I admire you so much. And I will not forget one Comrades Marathon. I was at home and suddenly we got a phone call saying that we must quickly go and watch. Zettie is number 6. And I thought it can never be. But I didn't realize in your age class, watching quickly onto the computer, you literally finished that race amongst the senior runners. I think you finished in 5 or 6, in 4th place. Please tell me a bit about that day and that marathon.
Yes, it was quite a special one because that was my last marathon, and my husband and I always ran together. And at that time, in 2014, I wanted to do a marathon in each age category, 30, 40, 50. And I just turned 60 that year, and I thought it would be nice if I can do another marathon at Comrades. So it was actually a very special day because as he took me to the airport, and when I got to Durban and unpacked, there was a little letter for me in an envelope. And he wrote to me that he wished me luck, and he gave me his last Comrades Marathon medal. And he said to me, I can't be with you with this run, but keep this medal with you, and you will know I'm with you. So that was very special. The morning I dressed, and I put the medal around my neck, in my pocket, And all the way, it had a little ribbon around it, but the ribbon was hard. So during the race, it scratched me, but it wasn't an irritating scratch. It was a scratch actually reminding me of my husband. And I think there were so many people praying for me. But I remember as I got into Durban, it was a down run, there was a big bus. That is when a lot of athletes run with a runner who takes them through. And Neil said to me, don't get into a bus because I want to see you. So I held back and I waited for the bus to finish, and then I came in. So maybe I would have done better if I tried to go, to go in before the bus. But anyway, it was a wonderful experience, and I'm very glad I got to get 4th place.
Zettie, most people stop running at age 40, 50, and you are now 70, still going strong. What motivates you to, at this age, still do so much work on the road and run distances and keep going? What keeps you going?
I think it's a love for running. It's a love for outdoors, for nature. I love being fit. That's to be healthy. I did my last half marathon 2 years ago. So I just trained, do 10 or a 15 each morning. But from March this year, now when I turned 70, I decided to just walk. So I don't run anymore. I feel it's better, it's soft on my joints. And so I made a lot of new friends. I just thought I've done everything I wanted to do in running. But I haven't done all these beautiful hikes you get, and all of them are in nature. It's a completely different discipline. I train between 10 and 21 Ks in the morning. Each morning I do about 70 to 80 kilometers a week. And we are actually preparing for a big event next year. But I've got to be longer on the road to get this same outcome. So sometimes I go into nature to get a softer underfoot and an uneven underfoot. I walk with poles if it's a lot of uphill and downhill, and I start enjoying it very much.
Yeah, Zettie, I want to ask you, because you're on your way to Nepal next year. But you and Niels, you did the walk up to base camp in Nepal. And then that earthquake suddenly happened. Please tell me your experience and what happened there.
Yes, that was 2014 when I did my last Comrades. I said to Niels, please give me something else to look forward to, a challenge. Because I think you've got to have a challenge, something to look forward to do real training, to commit yourself. And so one day he came back home and he said, let's do base camp 2015. So we decided on it. Yes, I don't run. I'll stop running and I'll train with him. So January 2015, I was diagnosed with breast cancer, which was a great shock to us. But by then, we've booked and paid everything. And the doctor said, there's no way you can go, because I had to get chemotherapy and radiation. And we decided, no, we'll see what I feel like. And I remember my radiation stopped on the 10th of April. And we got underway on the 17th of April, 2015. Everything went well. I felt okay. One morning we got up. It was at about 4,700 meters. Little town or a few houses. It's called Machermu. And we started the hike for the day. It was bitterly cold, a terrible, terrible snowstorm. And we were on a small little piece. It was about a path this wide with a mountain this side and just a gully down. And we were walking, and the next moment we heard a noise, but it was a strange noise, far away, a distant noise. And the next moment it felt as if you were on the ocean on a small little boat. That whole mountain tipped. It was terrible. We couldn't keep our balance, and I was so shocked. But what I tell you now happened in a few seconds. And Niels was walking behind me, and I took my walking pole. I was scared he might fall into the, it was really a bad drop down. And I wanted to cover him, and I said to him, it's an earthquake. And the next moment, the rocks were coming for us. Big rocks just came tumbling down the mountain. We had nowhere to go, and we dodged them. I laugh now, but it was a terrible experience, and it stayed with me for a very long time. But luckily, we were not injured. So our guide thought, and we thought it's just on us, the rocks that came tumbling down. We stayed there for about 10 minutes just for everything to settle, and then he said to us, we must go as fast as possible to the next little town. But the further we went on, we saw the destruction. Everything was flattened. But as we got to Gokyo, that was at about 4,700 meters. They also felt it, and a lot of the places went down. So we stayed there, and then we got the word that it's the whole of Nepal. That was, a lot of people. That day, almost 6,000 people died. At base camp 18, it was terrible, and the TV went down. No internet, no phones, nothing. And the kids, you know what happened. You were here at home. You got the word that so many people died, and you didn't hear anything about us. We couldn't contact you. So everybody was looking for us. My dear daughter, the Nepalese police, and gift of the givers, everybody was searching for us. Luckily, we were safe. We stayed in Gokyo for a few days, but after a day, we had another aftershock, and another 3,000 people died. So I know you back home were very worried, but luckily it turned out for us to be a good story that I can tell.
By God's grace,
that's correct.
We all survived it, and now you want to go again. So why are you visiting Nepal again? What is the reason?
I would like to celebrate and say thank you to the Lord for 10 years after I've had breast cancer. I'd like to, because that's when we went in 2015, Neil said, when we see Everest, we'll thank the Lord for you being able to see it with me. Sadly, he passed away in 2022, so I really want to go and thank the Lord for the 10 years that he saved my life. And I'd like to finish the hike up base camp for Niels. So I go with memories. I'd like to do it in his honor. And there is a marathon each year to commemorate the summiting of Everest, the end of May. So I registered for the half marathon to do that as well. So we'll be going up to base camp, go to Kalapatar. Base camp is at about 5,300 meters. Kalapatar is 5,600, and then we'll do the half marathon on our way down.
That's remarkable. My father-in-law was a tremendous person, and I feel emotion if I talk to you about it. It was such a privilege to know him. He died of pancreas cancer a few years back. It's the cancer I've seen that take people away the fastest of any cancer, of all my cancer patients I see in my pharmacy. I also produce a remedy for cancer called my Mega Cancer Support, which is a remarkable remedy with our own cancer bush, with turmeric and with blushwood berry that comes all the way from Australia. And I can just tell you and all my cancer patients, you can with confidence use this product, even if you're on therapy. And to me, it gives me so much pleasure to see all these cancer patients that have something to take and they feel confident. They come back to the pharmacy and you treat them for simple conditions like a simple flu. And I also want to recommend to you that you must take that Mega Cancer Support. It's a very, very powerful immune booster. So I really hope you, before going to Nepal next year, take some Mega Cancer Support. But thank you for your time and you sharing all these very deep emotional journeys you've been through. Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure.